Hello everyone, SunsandDuck2, welcome to another mod pack overview, this time on ModFest 116. A mod pack that simply adds in a bunch of different mods from the 116 ModFest event. To download it, you simply just want the zip file, and you can either just paste it in a tab and it'll bring it up, or you can just, and to get it locally of course, or you can just click create instance, put it in here, and you'll be good to go. Now, to actually get the pack to install everything, just double click it and it will say, nope, we can't do this. You want to click it again and then it will actually install, bring up an installer, and it will say, do you want Retina, or do you want to install, or such and such. You'll know it when you see it. And then from there, it'll be fine. You just install, it does its thing, and then it'll set everything up. Other than that, there is an amazing intro, which is actually one of the mods added in this, but I can't show it because it takes a while to actually load up the game. But for the most part, it is impressive. With flying taters and other bits and pieces, it's amazing. But yeah, so we'll just try and go through these as much as possible. This is probably my third time trying to record this now, so I do want to try and get through things quickly to fit into a reasonable size, because there is a lot. And I don't like mod pack videos to go into the double parts sort of time. So yeah. So we've got Adventure Z, which adds in a few mobs, a boss, a ritual sort of stone, and you've got certain other things I assume as a reward, or for summoning in the boss, and in later versions you've got Gilded Armor, which is not available in this version. You've got Astromine, which adds in a bunch of different machines. You've got a projector, you've got a fuel mixer, you've got a bunch of other things like a smelter, fluid extractor, you've got pipes, and you've got armor and tools and a bunch of different materials for either making the ship or finding on different planets, or maybe just one planet, I'm not sure. I have yet to look into it. So there's that, and fluids. You've got Astrum, which adds in a different biome, as well as tools and blocks and other such things. We've got Attack the Bike Shed, which adds in a bike rack, as well as DMCA wand, which is amazingly hilarious in its own way. You've got Biomechanics, which adds a bunch of different machines. So you've got your processor, your crusher, your furnace and such, but you also have a different approach with it being like a circulatory system. So you want to have blood and you'll have organs and such in some of the machines, and then you use the blood vessels to then create a network similar to this. So you sort of just have it loop around. Not in this exact way, of course. There is a book, obviously, to sort of show you how, but you present machines like the squeezer and certain other stuff to sort of get the basics of blood, and then some of the other ones like the heart case and pump and digester and so on are used to keep the system going. The hotbar, as well as others, do their own thing for pushing items and blood through, or the photosynthesizer for getting oxygen or blood or something like that, but also interacting with the sky. So yeah, so it's kind of like your solar panel in a way. You've got biospheres for adding in the ability for you to have different biomes sectioned off into different spheres and a different approach to survival. But obviously it is a recreation of a mod from the past that was also quite interesting and impressive. You've got Biowake, or Blockwake, sorry, which adds in a bunch of different things like a musket, a structure, I assume, for a ship, or they try and build it themselves, the different pirates. You've got some ammunition, you've got bits and pieces of components you can recruit, I assume, as well. So yeah, and the pirates themselves do actually place down planks, or did somewhere, to then make their own ship, I assume, so maybe they make it from scratch, I have no idea, but something like that. You've got Bone Cheese, which just adds in a food option, I guess. I don't know why or what it does, but it's just a bone and milk, and you just consume it to then get, I assume, hunger back or some effect. I have absolutely no idea. We're on peaceful, because I got rid of the pirate and creepers and such. Okay, so we'll just eat this and find out, but obviously still move on. So this gives us what? Nothing in is just a food. Okay, so not much. And you get the bone back, so a little bit of something, I guess, if you need food. You've got cargo rockets, which adds the ability for you to pretty much just make a launch controller and a few other things to then send, I assume, cargo off. I don't know what you do for the fuel though, as there is obviously in the rocket a GUI that shows you need fuel, so I don't know really what the case is there. I don't know if you need oil or something else, but yeah, I don't know if it interacts with other mods either, so no idea. You've got, once we get Aria back up, you've got Concraft. Should I get this up here? I'm just going to need to go at con, just adds this block here. I don't know enough about it, so, but yeah. There's this block, and you can obviously have it do certain things, I assume. You've got, we can get rid of the potion effect, we can see more of what's on the screen. We've got Crusade, which adds in lances and a helmet and a trebuchet. You've got Cursed, which adds in pretty much just this wither fragment here, as well as, I assume, the ability for mobs to be tougher, and a new biome, and a few other bits and pieces, and a thing for speedrunners, apparently. I assume the later versions have a lot more maybe than this one. It's in the Modfest pack. You've got Delicious Dishes, which adds in pizza, as well as different plated meals. So hamburgers, fish and chips, and so on, along with ingredients of certain types, and flags for decoration. You've got Eldritch Mobs, which just adds, I assume, tougher versions of mobs, and is based on Infernal Mobs. Oops, didn't want to select that. We've got Faster Than Sea, which adds in additional blocks, as well as, I assume, maybe its own dimension, maybe its own biome, and adds, obviously, a bunch of crashed jump ships that maybe you can use yourself? I don't know. There is a bunch of different components, like a jump drive controller and a few other things. My guess is this is all decoration, or just, like, to add a structure to the world, I don't know. Maybe there's loot. Maybe you can do more with it. I have absolutely no idea, but it is still quite interesting. You've got Fly Creeper Fly, which just allows creepers to fly the same as blazes can. So we just push them off a tree here, for example. They'll just fly down, like so. You've got Glow Case for adding in a text block, hyperlink block, and item display, which is what these two are here. So you've got this here and this here. You've got the pack link there. You've got Tamer, which allows you to be a vampire, which adds in vampire blood and a few other bits and pieces. I don't know if there's more to it than just being a vampire and you say burn in daylight, or you can get more from mobs, or you become more powerful, or maybe there's like a whole tree or something that you go through. I don't know, my guess is it's just you're a vampire and there's certain other bits and pieces, but I don't know. Can only think so much about what's possible based on what's here, not much experience with them. You've got Heart of the Machine with a bunch of different blocks, a dimension, and sort of technical vibe. You've got Herbocraft, which adds in a bunch of different machines to then, I assume, craft or keep them sort of maintained and such, and make obviously a bunch of plants that can defend you. You've got the loading screen, which is impressive, so you've got this sort of here, which you'll see a fair amount, and you'll see like flying taters and space and other bits and pieces. It's amazing. You've got Identity, which adds the ability for you to swap to different mobs and have some of their attributes. So we can fly as a Ghast, we can be an Illusioner, and some other things. Slime, I guess, in a way. Look like a slime. You've got Labyrinthe, which we'll just go back to our actual size, which adds in a dimension and sort of dungeon approach, so you get a bunch of loot and different blocks as well there. You've got Lacrimus, which is a magic mod that adds in a bunch of different things like runes and extraction and a bunch of different charms or tablets or something like that, I'm not sure. Some armor, sword, and you've got an infusion table, crucible, soul combiner, and other bits and pieces. You've got landmark for adding names to structures. You've got little tater block, which I assume is just an excuse to put little tater in anything, which I'm not against. So, little tater. That seems to be pretty much it. No recipe, no nothing else like the other tater mods. So, just little tater. You've got mobs attempt parkour, which allows mobs to obviously have an improved jumping AI, and can obviously jump things in certain situations that are obviously hazardous or something. You've got mod updater, which is obviously the ability for mods to update in certain ways, so you assume you can configure it to do bits and pieces. You've got more shulker boxes, which adds in the following here. So you've got a crafting one, you've got an ender chest like one, and you've got a larger sized one. You've got muffle, which adds obviously the ability to muffle sounds in I think about a 6 block radius or something. I can't quite remember. So it'll muffle any sounds from mobs to you as a player making noise and such. Like walking past, breaking blocks and such. You've got microturgy, I think, which I assume is to do with certain plants and other bits and pieces. Maybe to do with like maintaining the ecosystem in nature. So like maybe it gets stuff from trees and other things nearby. Obviously got a certain display here because of the band here, which you can get. So I don't know. I assume it's supposed to be sort of like a nature-themed magic mod of sorts. I'm not too sure. Otherwise though, we've got poly dungeons, which adds in a few mobs, like dungeon blocks, and maybe a few things like a spear and loot and such. You've got the potion one, which adds in the hunt potion here, I think, which pretty much has it so that if they attack, then obviously we want to be careful because it's sort of a negative focus potion. You've got quantum gems, which adds in a bunch of tools. You've got gems for upgrades to existing vanilla stuff, and obviously there are ores and bits and pieces, and upgrade base. You've got rainbow, which adds in just the single bow here, which just gives you, I think, sort of like a 7 arrow sort of thing. I don't know. I'll actually try with game mode is that. So we've got 60, and we'll go down to 59. Okay, so it doesn't actually use up more arrows, it just fires more. I suppose maybe it fires 7, but it's obviously trying to go for a rainbow fashion approach. You've got RPG stats for adding in stat system. So you've got leveling for melee, range, defense, and you obviously get different additional benefits for different things. You've got small dragons, which I assume just allows you to maybe use the dragon egg or do other bits and pieces, or you find small dragons. I don't know. I haven't looked into it myself. You've got Sun IRL, which makes the sun and moon mimic real life. You've got Superworld, which adds a bunch of blocks to then obviously sort of fit the thing it's going for. Pretty much just decoration, I assume. There's no like you walk between pipes or this and the other. You've got the Manhattan Project, which adds the ability for you to change things in chat apparently. I don't know that much about this one, so it sounds impressive, but again, I'm not sure in what way. You've got Twine, which adds in pretty much a backpack, as well as a few other things like harmful obsidian, item, and URL openers and such. And you've got Wooden Myers, which adds in pine trees, as well as a new biome and such, so yeah. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.